Hi, and welcome to this ForNAV coffee break. My name is René Brummel. I'm a product specialist at ForNAV, and I will be your presenter today. As this coffee break is live, you can ask your questions via the GoToWebinar question window. We will answer them at the end of the coffee break. Today, we're going to upgrade ForNAV on-premise from DLL to Universal Code. Universal Code extensions are extensions that are optimized to run on cloud and don't use DLLs, the local file system, and other features that are only accessible for on-premise extensions. There are some technical differences between the DLL-style ForNAV reports and the new Universal Code reports. First, the DLL-style reports reference the ForNAV DLL. Then there are the custom layouts. In the DLL version of ForNAV, these are based on RDLC files. In the Universal Code version, they are based on docx reports. These differences make for a complex upgrade path. You need to take the right steps in the right order. In this coffee break, we'll walk you through all of these steps. To demonstrate upgrading ForNAV Universal Code, I'm going to use these steps. The prerequisites, what do I need to get going? In step 2, I will upgrade the ForNAV designer and report pack. In step 3, I will back up all ForNAV settings and reports. In step 4, I will uninstall the DLL version of ForNAV. In step 5, I will install the Universal Code version of ForNAV. In step 6, I will restore my backup. In step 7, I will upgrade all reports and layouts. In step 8, I will upgrade VS Code managed extensions. Let's start with the first step. Today, I will upgrade ForNAV in a Business Central on-premise server with Business Central 2022 Wave 2 release. I've installed the ForNAV customizable report pack and I've executed a step-by-step wizard from the assisted setup to get started. I also have the ForNAV designer installed on my PC. The ForNAV designer can be downloaded from the ForNAV website. When upgrading to Universal Code, you need to make sure you have the latest version of the ForNAV designer installed. Finally, I have downloaded the ForNAV Universal Code apps from the ForNAV website. The JavaScript functions setRange, setFilter and get only work under some conditions for Universal Code. To resolve this, the best thing to do is to replace the calls with property values on the JavaScript records. We will record a separate coffee break about this topic soon. If a report is converted from Classic, or if it is specially built, we cannot guarantee that the AL code works without any changes. If the report has AL section triggers with logic having side effects where the code sets values on global variables, which are used directly or indirectly in the dataset, these values might not be reflected in the report data. The first thing we need to do is to upgrade the ForNAV designer and report pack. It is not technically necessary to upgrade all of your reports and layouts, but we need the backup feature that's available from ForNAV 7. We also need to upgrade the ForNAV core extension to the latest version. Now, of course, before this coffee break started, I had already upgraded my ForNAV designer, and the report pack is also on the latest version of ForNAV. To upgrade the ForNAV core extension, that's as easy as going to the settings, editing the connections, and hit test. If your ForNAV core extension is outdated, this will update it. And in some installations, you may not have the ForNAV core installation at all, because in a production system where you don't design any reports, if you only design reports in the test or development system, you will probably not have the ForNAV core installed at all. But I've connected, everything is updated now. Then the second thing we need to do is back up all of the ForNAV settings. Some of the tables will be deleted and recreated during the upgrade process, so we need to back up and restore all of our settings, all of our extensions, and everything that has to do with ForNAV. Which, to be honest, inside in an upgrade process, backing up everything before you start is a good thing to start with anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the ForNAV setup. And in the ForNAV setup, we have an action called backup and export. And this export action, if I make the page a bit bigger, you will notice it will export every setting that I have in ForNAV. So I have some settings in the ForNAV language. I have a bunch of custom layouts which need to be exported, and I have a bunch of stuff inside my setup that I'm going to want to export. So simply hit export all. That will export everything that we have there. Then of course I have some custom reports. If I go to my report, you will notice I've got my ForNAV report and my ForNAV invoice. I'm going to want to back up these extensions as well because these are managed extensions that are managed with the ForNAV designer, and I can back these up simply by downloading the extension. I will search for my and hit OK, and I will back up the first one. I will find my ForNAV report as well, which I'm going to save here as well. So that's all done. Now I've backed up everything that's in this specific Business Central database. You may also have extensions with ForNAV reports that you manage in Visual Studio Code. I haven't addressed those in this specific webinar, but if you have those, then of course you need to make sure you have a backup of them as well. Then the third thing we need to do is to uninstall the DLL version of the ForNAV extensions. And I'm going to do this inside Business Central today. And I can do this inside Business Central because it's I have these extensions installed as dev extensions. And I can find them simply by opening the extension management. And in the extension management, you will notice I've got my customizable report pack, I've got the ForNAV core, and I've got the two ForNAV managed extensions that I've created and uploaded before this webinar. To uninstall, in this case, because they're published as dev, I can uninstall them straight from Business Central. Delete extension data should be switched off. We don't want to delete all of the data. And when we uninstall, we notice that the extension customizable report pack is a dependency for one of these ForNAV report extensions, so those are going to be uninstalled automatically as well. Which means I need to unpublish that one, and then I can unpublish the customizable report pack. And I'm going to do the same for the ForNAV core. And I will unpublish the ForNAV core as well. The My ForNAV report doesn't have any dependencies on the ForNAV customizable report pack or anything else, so that can just remain installed in the system. And then, of course, we get to the installation of the Universal Code version of ForNAV. To install the Universal Code version of ForNAV, we do that with a PowerShell script. And this is a very simple script. We'll make it available on our GitHub page. It's a very simple script that will either install an application or it will upgrade an application. And we have an install and an upgrade because some of these apps need to be installed, like the ForNAV language module that you see right here at the bottom. That needs to be installed because it hasn't been installed in the system before. And then the ForNAV core and the ForNAV customizable report pack, they need to be upgraded. And one thing that's important for the customizable report pack is that in the sync nav step that we have here, we sync with mode ForSync, and that is because the customizable report pack in the Universal Code app has less tables than the customizable report pack in the DLL version of ForNAV. So we need to ForSync it in order to make sure that those specific tables are deleted. And with the ForSync, of course, all the rest of the data, as long as the table, for the tables that remain in the system, the data will not be destroyed or deleted. It will just delete all of the tables that are deleted. So that's important. And of course, in the upgraded application, we need to start nav data upgrade in order to upgrade the data. So install language module, upgrade ForNAV core, unless of course you haven't installed the ForNAV core in your system before. In that case, the ForNAV core needs to be installed. Upgrade ForNAV customizable report pack and install application ForNAV server. So let's go and try this. And to try this, I will open my PowerShell prompt, and you will notice that I'm running this in a Docker container In this Docker container I have uploaded my PowerShell script before in the ForNAV UC folder, so I can simply run my install.ps1, and if I hit enter, you will notice we're installing the language module, we're installing the core, we're upgrading the customizable report pack. And if we give this a minute, you will notice that the customizable report pack fails, and that's because in my system I have the ForNAV 7.0.0.2 already installed. The previous report pack also had the version 7.0.0.2, so we'll need to address that manually. And finally, we're installing the ForNAV service, where you get a warning that it's built on a different on the server with a different version. That's fine. There's nothing weird about that. So to address the issue we had with the customizable report pack, we will go to extension management in Business Central, and in here, let's filter the list. You will notice that the customizable report pack is not installed, so I will install this manually from here. That will install my customizable report pack, and you'll notice I have my report pack, ForNAV core, ForNAV language module, and ForNAV service, which are the parts of the ForNAV universal code that I need in my system. So I'm happy with that. I'm just closing my Business Central window so I can open it later on. Then the fifth thing we need to do is we are going to need to restore our backup, which is a pretty simple step. Let's log into Business Central. And we will find our ForNAV setup. And you will notice in the ForNAV setup that some of these settings have remained in place. I've still got my logo, my watermark, my payment note, and everything else. But some of these settings will not remain in place. So I'm going to import my backup, which is going to be the ForNAV backup 1. And in the ForNAV backup 1, you will notice I've got my ForNAV language, I've got my layouts, and I've got my setup stuff that I've exported before. I will simply say import all, and importing all says the import was completed with errors. And you will notice that the ForNAV language has imported properly, but everything else, it says it already exists, and that's because the ForNAV language has been moved to a separate extension. So the tables for the ForNAV language module have been deleted, so that needs to be re-imported, and everything else already exists. Nevertheless, it's important to make a full backup before you do anything with upgrading the extension, because you never know what might go wrong. Having a full backup before you start is never a bad idea. Then finally, almost finally, by the way, we are going to upgrade the reports and layouts. As I said before, we need to remove the calls to the DLL in the report AL files, and the custom layouts need to be upgraded to docx files instead of RDLC files. And also, you may have noticed that I failed to import my my custom layout my report that I have uninstalled in the upgrade process. So we will address that as well. So let's go and have a look at what we have in Business Central now, because we said before we had some custom layouts for some standard ForNAV reports. So the customer list had an orange layout, but if I run this report, you will notice that it runs with the standard ForNAV layout. There's no orange anywhere inside apart from the ForNAV logo. So that's not good. And if I open the custom layouts for this report, you will notice that the orange layout is there. Still, it needs to be upgraded. Also, I have my ForNAV My Reports, which currently gives me the My ForNAV report. The My ForNAV report still references the ForNAV DLL, so we need to upgrade that as well. To upgrade is a fairly simple action. To upgrade, we have a function in the ForNAV designer that will upgrade reports and layouts to universal code. However, the first thing we need to do is completely close the ForNAV designer. And if I close the ForNAV designer, it will continue running suspended. So I'm going to exit the ForNAV designer, and that will completely close the ForNAV designer. I will reopen it. Reopening it will lose all of the existing connections to the ForNAV DLL version of the report pack. It will start the ForNAV designer fresh. So I'll quickly test my connection, which sets everything up. So everything is valid, and I'm ready to go again in the universal code version of ForNAV. So whenever you switch from the DLL version of ForNAV to universal code, just close and restart your ForNAV designer. First thing I will do is upload my ForNAV invoice. And please be aware this is still using the DLL version of ForNAV, which means that the DLL still needs to be installed on the server. There's no need to uninstall the ForNAV DLL on your service tiers. It doesn't do anything anymore, and it's useful to keep there just in case you need to upload some old stuff that you still need to convert. And then I'm going to hit upgrade reports and layouts to universal code, which is going to check the inventory. And then it says 2 RDLC reports and 3 layouts will be updated, which is exactly right. I will hit yes to continue. To continue, I need an empty folder to store my upgrade. So I will simply call that upgrade UC, and I will select that folder, and then ForNAV will start converting everything. It will start converting the 2 extensions I have, and it will convert the custom layouts I had in the system. And that takes a while. And when you have more extensions and custom layouts in the system, this will take even longer. Nevertheless, the upgrade completed successfully, which means that in my upgrade UC folder, this is the empty folder I just created. I have 2 folders, new and old. In old, you will notice I've got 3 RDLC files, which are the layouts, and 2 app files, which contain the old reports. And I have a new folder, and in there I've got the new word style layouts, and I've got 2 app files, which contain my layouts. And these are just there for backup purposes, because ForNAV has already updated the layouts and stuff that I have in the system, so I can run my customer list. And now it runs with the orange layout, which I specified before. And in my ForNAV my reports, I can run my reports as well, and those reports will run with the correct custom layout just in case I had one. And the final thing we need to do is to upgrade any VS Code managed extensions. We have recorded a coffee break especially about this topic recently, so we won't extend this coffee break any further. And updating your VS Code managed extensions to universal code from DLL works exactly the same as you would when you upgrade your ForNAV from on-premise to cloud. So this knowledge base article that we describe here will discuss everything that you need. So let's recap what we just did. The first thing we did was to upgrade our existing ForNAV installation to the latest version. That enabled us to export all our ForNAV settings. We then uninstalled the existing ForNAV apps and installed the new universal code apps with an update script. Finally, we restored the relevant ForNAV settings and upgraded the reports and layouts. We have various other videos and knowledge base articles about the upgrade scenarios I mentioned, and I've listed the more important ones. So we have the upgrade script on GitHub, which you can find. We have the KB articles on the upgrade, and mentioned in there are a bunch of coffee break articles, coffee break videos that will help you along as well. So thank you for listening to me so far, and I can see we don't have any questions, so I will wrap up this coffee break. If you want to know more about ForNAV, or if you want to download the ForNAV Designer and Converter, please visit our website. If you want to install ForNAV in Business Central Cloud, please visit the Microsoft App Source. You can watch more videos about ForNAV on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions about ForNAV, please email them to support@fornav.com. For a full list of upcoming and recorded coffee breaks, please visit fornav.com/coffeebreak. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.